Good afternoon, everyone. This is David Rothfeder again, starting session 2 of Night Witches Season 1. We're doing a full 6 episode season, doing one mission per episode. Last session was mostly character creation, which took up a big bulk of the time, but we did get started, and wow, things have already really gotten complicated, which is awesome for a Powered by the Apocalypse game. This session, we do have a new player so let's give him an opportunity to introduce himself. So, Martin.
Yeah, my name is Martin. I live in Sweden. Daytime, I work as a doctor. I'm quite new to role playing, I tried sometimes when I was younger, but it really didn't click somehow. And this a couple of months ago, I started reading up on. I stumbled over Dungeon World, and they got me into PBTA games, and I've read a lot of rule books and trying to run a Dungeon World game here at home with some friends. But so I've actually never.
Oh, looks like Martin cut out there.
Oh,
no worries. So thank you, Martin, for joining us today, and you're going to be here for, I think, the majority of the rest of the season. Martin is going to be making his character during the first part of the session, and we'll come back in and get him introduced, including some of those questions we asked last time. In the meantime, let's do a recap of what happened last session. And I'm going to start with Hannah, because I think actually no, let's do Hannah last, because Hannah really is in the middle of some very big things. So let's leave that for the cap and start with Dasha. Dasha, what's some of the important things that you remember from last session?
Yeah, so it went very badly for everyone. Well, it could have gone worse. We could have all died, but we did not succeed in basically anything we tried, and I got shot at a lot, and we deployed the bombs a little too early and did not hit our target, and tried again, and the same thing happened. Yeah, we were just really bad.
Dasha, whose fault was that?
That was Valentina Arudina. That was her fault. Her timing was way off every run, and I tried to compensate for that by doing a run without her, and yeah, by then they knew we were there and they were already shooting at us.
Man, you wasted a lot of supplies on that bombing run.
Yeah.
Ira, what else do you remember about last session?
Outside of the bombing run?
Anything that stood out as important.
Anything else that stood out important? I know. Let's see. I remember I wrote home to my sister. What did everybody else do? Hannah, had the meeting with who was it to settle the assignments during the run with
Olga Petrova.
Yeah, Olga Petrova. I remember she gave a little test and asked who should be grounded for the mission, which was a bit of a trick because no one actually was. The person she said was the worst pilot got assigned as Hannah's navigator.
Yeah, so Hannah, because Hannah said she was the best, so there's no spare. There's no spare pilots here. If someone's weak, you put them with someone strong, and
let's see. Who was it who offered to help? Was it Masha who went to Nina Mirova and offered to help? No, it was
Dasha.
the.
I believe it was Masha, our owl, who is not with us this session,
Yeah.
but will be back in later sessions. So yeah, she wanted basically something to make the flashlights that you guys use to read maps in the middle of flight less noticeable by the Germans. So she wanted some tinted glass for that, and Masha has, and Morova has been basically cutting glass to be used as replacement, replacements for dial plates and things like that. So she was willing to do that to prevent Masha from stealing a tail light. And as I recall, Morova doesn't tend to like pilots very much. And then finally, Hannah. No, you don't have anything important to say. I'm sure of that. But you know what? This is a fair communist nation, so you have your opportunity to speak your piece. Just remember, make sure it's appropriate to state lines, because you don't want the NKVD to be on your ass.
Well, I remember from from last session that Dasha actually went to our mechanic, to Mirova, to help her fix planes, but she didn't want to be helped. And then I also remember my character's Hannah's discussion with Olga that didn't go very well. But most importantly, Hannah got shot down behind and crash landed behind enemy lines.
Ooh, that is vicious. So we are going to find out how that goes. And I think I'm going to do this as cut sequences. So we're going to start at the debrief with 4 Russian airwomen when there should be 6. So, there is Lieutenant Olga Petrova sitting at basically the table in the debrief tent, covered in maps and papers and things like that. Behind her is standing a tall, stern woman, but it's very obvious that this woman is looking over Olga's shoulder, but has no intention of speaking. Where is my plane? I expect an answer out of you 4.
I was a little bit confused last session as to exactly which plane I was in and what position I was in.
I believe you were in Navigator.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
we kind of rushed that a little bit.
I got a little lost, but we were wrapping up, so I didn't really.
Yeah, I was trying to get that a little bit quick. Oh, that's a great point, Hannah. Do you remember which plane you were in?
Unfortunately, it was our reliable 228.
That's right, you were in 228. Shot down. We'll see what happens to good old 228.
Is there a map in this room?
Yes, they're basically. This is basically just a big basically palisade tarp with flaps that can be like lowered so that it can trap in heat in the winter. So that a space heater could be like or like a a small like wood oven could be like effective at heating the place. Right now it's still springtime, so they're not too concerned about keeping them closed. But it's basically a big wooden table with maps and such laid out. You can tell from the what's currently on the table that basically what's on top was your current mission, which was another thing that I didn't get a chance to. You were bombing a German 1st Panzer Army headquarters unit. So basically, it was one of the units that basically patrols around their headquarters on the front line. And you were basically trying to take out some tanks, but they had some air protection as well. You did manage to take out one of the anti-air guns, which is a big deal.
Okay, that's not what we're being asked about.
No.
I think I just go over to the map and point as best I can where the plane went down.
So, flash to a couple of hours before, Hannah, your wings have basically been shot up by machine gun fire. Now, there's not a now you don't think it wasn't a big explosion or flak that might have that's likely to damage the frame, but it's hard to tell. But it is hard to keep this plane up right now because basically everything that creates a wing is torn to shit. So you're going to have to roll a wings down.
Do we have a role for your party?
It is posted in as a link in the Character Keeper, but I can post it in the chat as well. Here we go.
So, let's see. I re-roll the blue ones.
What was that?
I re-roll the blue ones.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which ones you re-roll.
It is a 6, and it's plus my
guts, I believe.
Let's see.
Wheels down. I'm sorry, skill.
Nice. That's my strong suit. So it's a 7.
Awesome. So I believe on a 7 to 9, you choose 2 consequences for landing a plane in less than ideal conditions.
Let's see. Wheels down. I choose 2. Jesus. They are not good consequences.
No.
I would say
I'm going to mark the plane as damaged because of the damage to the wings.
There's a casualty on board, and I think the landing puts me in immediate danger.
Okay.
So there's 3 harm.
Yep.
3 harms shared with the 2 of us.
Yep. Do you want to put all the harm on Sophia?
No. I like an NPC. How many harm can they?
Same as you. 3 harm, and they are completely incapacitated.
So I take 1 harm and give her the other 2.
Okay. So how much harm does that put you at?
1.
1 harm. And I don't think she took any harm from anything else, did she?
I don't think so.
Okay. So you point at about where you think the where you saw plane 228 getting shot up. Now, Dasha, this is your debrief, and I believe you have a mark that you still need to resolve.
Yes, I do. I need to throw the blame of this problem onto someone else. So, yeah. Ma'am, it was our timing was Lieutenant Ardina dropped the bombs way too soon, and our attempts to follow up were met with anti-aircraft fire. One of our planes was shot in the direction that you saw on the map there, and
Ardina interrupts, saying, "Don't blame me for your incompetence." And Petrova just waits for a second to see how you respond.
Well, if you had been competent in the first place, we would have been in and out before they even noticed us and started shooting.
Oh, that sounds like you're acting up like a hooligan. It could be something else, but this sounds like acting up.
She outranks me, so yeah, that's probably it. Where's that link? Oh, it's already open here. What do I add to acting up?
Do you agree that you're doing it as a hooligan, or do you believe you're doing this as a lady or a natural-born Soviet airwoman?
Well, I'm doing it out of pride, like, because I'm not going to admit that I did anything at all wrong here. I was, a completely competent pilot the whole time, but so she's a superior officer, so I don't know which it would be.
Do you want to come off as you are bringing this up out of pride for your training and the Army, and that you believe that you are reporting the failure of a soldier, or are you doing this as basically this is bullshit, it's her fault, I think the more obvious one is like a hooligan, but you can make a case for a natural-born Soviet airwoman, I believe.
No, I definitely want to come off as like very conscientious. Like, I wanted the mission to go correctly, and I did what I had to do to make the mission come off correctly.
Yeah, so you're putting in words like "with all due respect."
Yes, yeah.
If I may, so those little things that make it look like you're trying to be professional about this. In that case, you are rolling plus medal or plus medals, which I believe is 0 at this point.
Okay. Probably should have been like hooligan, but 7.
7. So if you look at the hands out sheet, that means that you get to choose one of the following.
Okay, let me see
that. Make someone do what you want. Ensure that there are no consequences for acting up, or add 1 to the mission pool. The mission pool is at 0, both because it was used up and it resets to 0.
Yeah, I'll add 1 to the mission pool.
Sergeant, you will speak when spoken to. Now, as far as you, Junior Lieutenant, you are you're claiming that this is their responsibility, but you were in charge of the bombing run. Tell me, when did you start bombing this? And she just starts grilling. She just starts grilling Arudina. And after about 5 minutes of this, the woman behind her leaves the tent. Do either of you try to stand up for Valentina?
Whose navigator was I? Valentina's navigator or Dasha's navigator?
I'm trying to remember. I think you were Valentina's because Dasha, weren't you with Masha?
It sounds right.
Yeah, I remember that Hannah was asked to put a team together, and it was Masha and Dasha.
Yeah, and Masha has harm, so that suggests she was in the same plane I was.
Awesome. So, yeah, Ira, you were in the plane. You saw exactly what was going on, and you know for a fact Valentina was overeager on the timing.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm not gonna stick my neck out for her when I know she screwed it up.
There are sometimes Valentina is saying things that aren't quite true. Are you going to correct her?
If someone was watching me while she was talking, they might get a sense of when I don't agree, but I'm not saying anything unless I'm asked.
Okay. After about 20 minutes of this, and Olga Petrova does ask both of you a couple of follow-up questions on things, but she's mostly trying to grill Valentina. After about 15-20 minutes of this, the woman from before comes in with two gentlemen. Olga looks over, does one of those. Junior Lieutenant Valentina Arudina, I am going to be transferring you over temporarily to the care of state security. Please follow those gentlemen and do not cause an issue. And you watch as the NKDV take away one of your comrades. Olga then turns to you two. Well, three, because Masha is here, but I'm just NPCing her. This is your reality now. Sometimes people come back, sometimes your comrades won't come back. And sometimes when they screw up, they get questioned. We can have hopes for your friends, but don't let it get to you too much. In the meantime, we obviously need to make some changes. I will inform you of the reassignments in a little bit, but for now, Masha, please report to Squad 34. Masha, not Dasha. Okay, so we're going to do one thing with Horst to see how behind enemy lines goes, and then we're going to switch to character creation for Martin. So you are in trouble. I think what happened here was, let's see, debrief. Nope. So I think you are landing in basically, you drift off a couple of miles where there is an active raid that was being coordinated with the airstrike. So basically, you guys were supposed to harass the Panther Division. Well, basically, an infantry, basically, tried to take out a couple of tanks while they were trying to recover from it. Basically, they were rushing in with grenades and such. This was a couple of miles later. A different regiment, basically a different squad that was being attacked because they weren't. Obviously the one that was attacked is on high alert. The other ones are probably rushing, are scrambling to support, and that's where they were hitting it weak. So you are going down, and you manage to land the plane right over where the Russians and Germans are shooting at each other. So both of them see you landing this damn plane. I want to see you roll guts because you are in a combat zone.
All right. And my guts are -1. I remember. No, it's 0. All right. Let's see.
That's pretty much as bad of a situation as I can think of as landing in a combat zone.
But I'm keeping my wits together. I have a 10.
10. Okay. Wow, this goes super well. I think what happens is you get out. So all you have with you is a pistol, some high-energy sweet milk, and a map and compass, and you're in the middle of an infantry fight. Do you get out and help?
So, first of all, I would like to check in with Sophia. How hurt is she?
She looks, quick look, she looks pretty banged up, but there's bullets flying, so you may want to deal with the immediate problem. Like, are you trying to, is your immediate response get her somewhere safe? Or is your immediate response help the troops on the ground?
No, definitely get Sophia and myself to safety. I'm not attacking German soldiers with my sweet milk.
You do have a pistol.
Or with my pistol.
Okay. So you help Sophia out of the plane and try to get back behind the Russian lines. They see you. So you see some of the soldiers pointing rifles at you and then noticing who you are and doing it back. But the raid is successful. They end up driving the Germans off, and they don't even have time to damage the plane. If you want, you can spend some time and try to see if you could borrow some cloth to patch up the plane and get it back home.
Definitely. So, I mean, is Sophia more of a mechanic than I am?
Well, there is a skill for repairing a plane. So either way, you're going to be the one who rolls it because you're a player and she's not. But repair, if a plane is torn up or broken and you help the mechanics fix it, roll plus skill. On any hit, you patch it up together and it's no longer damaged. And 7 through 9, you patch it together, but choose 2.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, yeah, I imagine that Sophia is probably more of the handy woman, and I'm the brain of the operations, pointing out possible solutions, maybe in theoretical ways. And then let's see how it goes. Wow, nice. This is a 9, and it is plus, let's see, plus skill, and my skill is 1, so it's actually a 10.
You patch up the plane's wings with like spare blankets and torn up coats. The men are, the men in the unit are watching you work throughout the morning and making cracks about, oh, she's so good at sewing, how motherly. And yeah, there's some, some of the soldiers, are trying to ask you out for, back when they've got some leave.
I mean, also keep in mind that Hannah is a beautiful woman, and I think she knows how to handle these guys.
Are you leading them on, or are you receptive?
I am definitely teasing them, but promising nothing.
Awesome.
And
so,
when I fly off, I wave to them.
Okay, we'll have some time until you arrive because you're spending a good deal of the day repairing the plane, and you're pretty tired. But we have a new airwoman. So, Martin, why don't you introduce who we have here?
Well, this is Polya Makarova. She's from Leningrad, and I see her a bit of a sort of a stern woman. I think maybe sort of groomed from the childhood to be of use for the fatherland or motherland. She has a son back home in Leningrad. I'm not sure about the father actually, but her son Maxim is the one she writes to when she's got time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And it looks like you are a hawk. Now, you do not have the background to be an officer, so you're still a sergeant. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
But you want to be a leader. It looks like your nature.
Yeah. Aspiring leader.
Looks like your clean-cut regulations, lean body, cruel eyes. Nice. We will let you choose a regard, which can be for a plane or a person, as well as a move in a little bit. But let's ask you a couple of questions first. What did you lie about on your regimental intake form?
What I lied about on my regimental intake form. I think I actually have a fear. I don't know if this is, but what pops into my head is, would it be to work with something like a fear of heights? Would that be, or is that just strange?
No. I think that's awesome and really going to be really stressful. Now, you have a lot of guts, so you're really good at those plane maneuvers, but maybe it's like, don't look down.
Yeah. She wants. She's been groomed. I've been groomed from childhood to serve my country, and this is the only way I can do it. But it's also very, very scary to do it. But I will do it for the country.
Okay.
I think, I lied to the psychiatrist to ask me about fears.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't tell him.
There's not really a psychiatrist. They say, do you have any issue with heights or being in planes? And you said no. And they're like, okay.
Yeah. Ticking the box.
In what ways do you dress like a woman?
I try, maybe I try to play down a bit because but maybe like a nice scarf around my head sometimes.
There's a decorative.
Sort of small decorative things, not not
Definitely
a big
not
or,
regulation.
no, it's
whose funeral did you miss by volunteering for flight training?
Sorry, whose
Funeral.
funeral? I think that would be my husband's funeral. Yeah, I missed my husband's funeral because I really didn't want to go there anyway.
Okay, who's looking after your son then?
My mother is. She's looking after Maxim, and she had to move in when my husband died.
Okay, awesome. When did you get a favor because of your gender, and how did you pay it back?
Could I be using for favors? Oh. I think we were out of food, and I really needed. I had no food for me and my son, or my mother, and somehow I got in ahead of the line, or someone sneaked me. Well, someone sneaked me food somewhere somehow out of the rationing system, because of there was a man who thought he was interested in me, and he hoped to get something out of it for sneaking me, giving me food in some way.
How did you pay him back then?
I think I let him take me to the zoo. Is there a zoo? I think it is a zoo in Leningrad. Well, now there is. He wanted to do something nice for me, but I'm not sure I really wanted to. But I let him take me to the zoo.
Yeah, and I am totally recycling a NPC for this. It was someone in the army who had access to food, because that would make sense. I'm going to say it was Major Usulov. Yeah, to go on a date. Did he get a little handsy on the date?
Yeah. Well, he tried to make some advances. He did. Yeah. I wasn't too entertained, but I really couldn't. Well, I felt that he was the only one I could rely on for the things I needed for my son and for my mother.
Excellent.
He was the only one I had right then, the only friend I had.
2 more questions. What did the Soviet state take from you?
Well, one thing would be my husband, but I really didn't miss him anyway, so it wasn't much of a loss. But and my dream is to serve the country. So and they let me do that. So well, that's a tough one. Well, that's a hard one to answer. Have any leads or suggestions?
Why don't we come back to it then?
Yeah.
Who do you know in your sister unit, the photogenic media darlings of the mostly female 586 Fighter Regiment, and how do you feel about her? So this is basically another program where female pilots are being used, except this is a mixed unit, and they are the ones that are kind of the media darlings and get like actually like good equipment, whereas you get all the your regiment, which is the harassment bombers, get just complete shit.
Oh. I think it's a childhood friend of mine, and we went to school together, and we shared a dream of being soldiers, and we always thought we would end up in the same unit, but somehow along the way she got picked to this better unit, not because of competence or skill, but either luck or bribes or something. Maybe her family was better off than mine and could ease her off into this better unit. So as a childhood friend who I'm really jealous and kind of bitter that she got the better. Yeah, I don't really have a name. I'm not good at Russian names.
There is in the handouts actually towards the end a list of names. I'm adding her to the NPC list, and then you can just go in and name her, and I'll update things later.
Yeah, I'll think of a name.
So, so Dasha and Ira, you go back to your tent with Masha, knowing that Masha will have to pick up her things, and there's already 3 men in your tent, basically searching through everything. Clothes are all on the ground, foot lockers are out. It looks like it's concentrated around Valentina's area, but they are not very picky about invading your space instead of just hers. As a matter of fact, let's push it a little bit further. Dasha, you're getting there as one of the guys basically is holding up your undergarments, takes a look at them, gives them a sniff, and then throws them aside.
I mean, if you wanted to steal our underwear, I mean, I don't think you'd look good in them, but you do.
You are so acting out here like a hooligan. I love it.
Yeah, I think that's legit this time for sure. Can't get this one to reroll. Hold on a sec. Let's see. What is my modifier? This is guts, right?
Yes.
Cool. That is in my favor. If I can get this to open, there we go. I think I have a good guts. 9.
9. So you get to choose one. Wrong one. Choose one. Make someone do what you want. Ensure there are no consequences for acting up, or add one to the mission pool.
What I want them to do is leave before they potentially find anything, because I feel pretty guilty about like throwing Aridina to the wolves. So yeah, get them to do what I want.
Yeah. So the guy blushes. And the other girls in the bunk are like catcalling at him, and like the two guys just get so embarrassed that they up and leave. The place is a mess, but the NKVD has exited the dorm.
Good.
And all of the women from the other squadrons are like,
and I just kind of like mock bow a little bit and start picking up my things.
Finally, a successful attack run.
As you're picking up, Polia, you have just been reassigned to this bunk that is an absolute mess.
Yeah.
You come in, and there's this one woman cleaning things up, and everyone's like cheering and laughing, and you don't know what's going on here.
Yeah. So I have my pack with me, and I expect. Well, I've just been assigned, and I'm thinking, well, finally I'm going to do something good for this country. And I walk in this chaos of a tent, and I just stop and look around and say something like, well, so this is what's going to defend us. This is what's going to stop the Germans, is it? And I just throw my pack at my bed, and I kind of tidy up my little part of the room.
Yeah, so the empty bunk in the bunk that looks like it's that you've been assigned to is the messiest one of them all. It looks like a tornado was centered right on this bunk.
Well, I don't say anything else. I very demonstratively pick up all the things, drop them on the floor, and I just tidy my space. I kind of make it very clear that this is what's this place? What's this place I've been assigned to?
Yeah, you see a letter on the ground that is addressed to my dearest Valentina.
Right. I pick it up. I hold it up and I say, well, is someone missing this, or should I just throw it out with the rest of the garbage?
Ouch.
And I hold it and I just sort of wait for a response.
I take it from her and kind of find some relatively hidden spot to stash it.
This must be Valentina.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't say anything.
I mean, so unless you're checking the uniform to see what the what the name on her uniform is. Actually, no. The uniforms would only have first initial, if that. Like first initial, last name, if they even have time to make that. I don't know. I'm not an expert of World War II Soviet uniforms.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like whatever the World War II era equivalent of Sharpie is, just written on there.
So yeah, things. I mean, here's a person who obviously is here to replace Valentina.
Yeah, I think after a while, after like, I don't know, stuffing it in a crack between two pieces of a bed or something, I turn back around and I'm like, okay, look, yeah, the reason your bunk is like that is that the NKVD just tossed it. So when you're putting your things away, keep that in mind.
All right. I sort of just scoff or just make a little noise or something like, well, maybe they had a reason to do something like this.
By the way, all of you have been up all night.
Yeah.
And this is now daytime. This is, they came and trashed your bunk right when you were. It was time for you to get to sleep. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe they did, and then I just like go to my bunk and try to fall asleep.
Is everyone trying to get a good day's sleep at this point? Let's face it, it's not a good day's sleep. It's a little bit of a day's sleep.
Well, I feel like maybe I just got here. I wasn't on the bombing run, so sorry. Just a minute. Right. Sorry. Come on. I wasn't on the bombing run, so I guess I'm not in need. I don't need to sleep.
Yeah, except you know that the next night you're expected to do a bombing run all night long.
Yeah. But I guess I just go around and sort of try to make some sense of the place we're at now and familiarize myself with the base.
Okay, so you're not trying to get any sleep, so you're going to be basically pulling an all-nighter.
Well, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I gotta know the place where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nope, that's definitely a decision to make.
Yeah.
So all of the women around you look like they are ready to just conk out for 10 hours. In about 6 is when they're expected to wake up. But I'm gonna say in about 3 hours, everyone wakes up to a very familiar sound. It's the sound of basically an overworked farm engine spinning a propeller. A plane's coming in the middle of the day, which is not right, and it wakes everyone up because everyone knows that sound. That's what you guys live and breathe for. Do you try to roll over and get some more sleep, or do you check out what's going on?
I'll check out what's going on.
I'm definitely checking it out.
Yeah, me too. I'm joining the rest.
So, Horst, I'm going to let you navigate how this is going, or narrate how this is going.
So I think that Hannah is flying flying over the camp, making like a victory round, throwing throwing kisses to the soldiers, and then landing the plane hard.
Yeah, it gives everyone a chance to read. That's 228. However, this is totally not regulation. So you're acting like a hooligan here, making a big show of your return.
Arguably, yeah.
Maybe a lady if you're doing the blowing kisses and doing it very elegant like. I'll let you choose hooligan or lady.
I actually would like to act like a lady. Not that guts is my. I just think it fits. It fits her entry. Let's see. I do think that my guts is 0. Yes. So let's see how it goes. Oh wow, this is an 11. I'm rolling really well today.
Yes, you are. So you get to choose 2 off of the list.
Let's see. Definitely, I want to add one for the mission pool.
Totally happens. Booster morale totally works as mission pool. The comrade they thought was dead came back alive, not just alive, but with the plane flying. That's impressive, and that's lifting everyone's spirits.
And I would also really like it to have that there are no consequences for acting up. So I would assume that Olga is, because she has she's injured, so she's inside. She didn't see it. Valentina is carried away and in custody probably. So probably nobody of the upper ranks saw it.
Actually, no. So all the women from the bunk come out. You actually see that Olga is standing outside of her tent, but she's not going up to you. Dasha and Ira, you notice that 2 women are approaching the plane. One of them was that quiet woman that went to get the NKVD during the debrief. The other person you think might be, because you haven't really had a chance to meet her yet, you think might be Major Bershanskaya, the regimental commander. So yeah, these 2 women come out and they're waiting. They wait for you to salute first because you're the lower ranking officer.
Yeah, obviously, Hannah stands very straight and salutes.
They salute back. So they introduce themselves. It is Yodiya, so the regimental commander, and also the chief of staff was the other woman who was in the tent with you guys, Captain Lebodeva. Terrible with these names. They introduce themselves. Lebodeva is basically asking you some questions, while the major is examining your plane. Like
Hannah tells it how it is. That like we dropped the bombs too early, and I had to go in to make the mission as successful as possible, given the failure of Junior Lieutenant Arudina.
Excellent. Do you tell them about the other attempts to cover to make the mission a success?
What other attempts were there?
Dasha tried to make a solo run.
Oh, definitely. I will actually make it sound even more heroic than it was.
And you tell them about the damage that you did.
Yes, we took out the anti-aircraft.
The captain is jotting it all down on a notepad really furiously. The major comes back. She's like, "Is this someone's jacket?" And she's pointing to the patch job you did on the wing.
Well, that is thanks to the ingenuity of Sergeant Lavrova, Sophia.
Yeah. Where did you get a jacket from?
Well, we actually landed in between fighting soldiers, and a dead soldier's jacket is better than no jacket.
The captain and the major like whisper things to each other. The major laughs. She says, "You, woman, need to get some sleep."
Salute and try to walk as straight and like marching towards the barracks.
You are at the barrack. Hana just came home.
So how's the reception?
That's kind of in Ira and Dash's hand, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm running up and hugs for Hannah and Sophia.
I'm totally going to call this reaching out. Yeah, it's something new, a truth that's new. You care about your comrades. That's totally, that has not been established before. So if you want to roll reaching out, you absolutely can.
Okay. Five.
So Hana, the Ira's attentions are ineffective, misunderstood, or understood all too clearly.
I think so. Ira hugs me, and I take her face and give a kiss on her mouth.
Oh,
Not sure if that is what she expected.
Probably not.
yeah, that is definitely causing some funny looks from the unit.
But I take Dasha and Ira at both hands, and lead her to the barrack to tell my war hero story. Is there any way to get something to drink? I say around.
That is an excellent point. Someone can roll a scrounge to find something to drink.
Sure, I'll do that. Let's see. 5 plus. So it's a 7.
Nice. So you get what you need, but you need to choose 2 from the list. Especially, yes, you are not a misanthrope, so you choose 2 from the list.
Well, it's poor quality, and I owe somebody for it.
Who did you get the moonshine from?
Let's see. Who do we already know? Wasn't there someone I borrowed tools from before? Who was that? Or did we not name them?
I believe that was from a different regiment, which would be a little hard to get to on short notice.
Oh, okay.
If you want a suggestion, Sergeant Morova is probably likely to have some just straight up ethanol for something or other.
Sure.
I mean, it's effectively fuel at that point.
Okay, so I owe Morova.
Yeah, so so Ira goes out of the tent and comes back with a mason jar full of what's effectively fuel for the planes. But yeah, this is straight up ethanol. It is rough. But will it get the job done?
Yeah, so Hannah passes the tin cups around and passes one, like she sits on the top of, I assume that it's these staple beds, or how do you call them, the bunk beds, and she sits on top of it and dangles her feet and describes the whole with her hands how the planes flew, and she also passes a tin cup to Polya and says, think we haven't met.
Yeah, so Polina, you are the new girl in the tent. That was a complete mess. Everyone's supposed to be asleep in the middle of it. Somebody just comes home claiming to be a war hero and is getting everyone drunk. How do you respond to all this? Martin?
Oh, sorry, there's a bit of a lag issue over here again. I kind of dropped out.
So yeah, I was basically just summarizing kind of what things must be looking like from your point of view. Essentially, someone came in, or the bunk basically was torn up. Seems to be some sort of party bunk. They're claiming that it was torn up by the NKVD. Then, when everyone's supposed to be asleep, someone flies in the middle of the day, claims they're a war hero now, and is getting everyone drunk.
This it's really lagging. I'm really sorry. I'll go check. I'll just go check something if I can make it better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes
we'll come back to Polina then.
Yeah.
Sometimes it helps if you just cancel the call and then rejoin the call.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just see if there's something other at home here first. Hogging bandwidth. Right back.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think, if I'm not totally mistaken, I can mark one of the. Where are they? Hold on a second.
Yeah, so there's a series of medals, and some of them count towards medals, and some of them don't. I would be the one who's awarding the medal, and I have my book open, so I'm looking through what the appropriate one might be.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the marks, to be honest.
The
because
marks.
I'm telling a war story. A war story. That is one of the marks.
So that's actually backwards for how it works. When you are marked, you choose one of those, and then it happens in the fiction. Because you notice the last one is embrace death and face your final destiny. So it's when bad things happen that you get marked. Now, not everything on the list is bad, but you can always tell a war story. It's just one of the marks is also tell a war story.
Yeah, maybe it's also. Wouldn't you say it qualifies as reaching out?
Oh, absolutely. And I was going to make that suggestion as well.
Like, obviously, I also tell about the fears when we hit the ground and we were in between. It's not that I'm the superhero who had no fears. I was actually afraid of death. We were both injured.
Yeah. No, that absolutely works. And, they definitely are asking, like, were you scared? So, yeah, you can absolutely roll it if you want to.
And I think, like the way it is phrased, do I have to reveal a significant new truth?
I think the fear of being caught behind enemy lines totally works.
Cool. And then I roll plus. Let's see.
Plus nothing.
Oh, plus nothing. Ooh, that went poorly. Probably maybe I'm drunk or something. It's a 5.
Okay. So were you ineffective, misunderstood, or understood all too clearly?
I would say yeah, maybe misunderstood. Like I'm talking about my fears, but obviously eventually I overcame them. And probably what people take away from my story is that I lost my nerves when we went down.
Yeah, actually, it's freaking everyone out. They're like when you're talking about landing in the middle of the mission, like the whole room just goes quiet.
Yeah, and I wanted to boost the morale, but now everybody looks like gloomy.
And actually, I think this is a great place to do a bio break. On that kind of dark note of, wait a second, this shit is real. So let's take a bio break and be back in about 5 minutes. So looks like right on the hour, and we'll continue from there. Okay. Martin, sounds like you're back.
Yeah, yeah, I'm back.
Okay. And then we'll just wait for Bethany.
Yeah. I'll try to run without the video and see if it helps.
Yeah, sure. It actually sounds like you're coming in a bit clearer with the audio right now.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Horst, I did look it up to see how it works. The medals are either based on missions and duty posts or based on taking the advance. But you certainly have earned. So when you take an advance, if you choose to take the medal, basically it's in the book it says, you know, if you can't cite why someone's earned a medal, then that medal is like oftentimes the target of ridicule by people who know you. It's basically, if you take that medal, no one's going to question it. They're going to be like, yep.
Yeah, I think Hannah is more interested in the real ones, in the ones that earns her respect.
Yeah, and you can only take those with advances. So, you know, we'll have opportunities to advance eventually. This game does feel like it's slower on advances until you realize that there's no like build-up experience. It's just boom, you get an advance all at once. So, you know, it's probably only going to be like one advance, maybe two over the course of the 6 sessions, because that's how the game is structured. But honestly, there's a lot of other awesome things about the game. In any case, Hannah, you just ruined the party.
Yeah, I did.
Which might be for the best because there's only a couple of hours until the wake up bell.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hannah, after like when there's this awkward silence, she raises a cup and says to Mother Russia, "I really need to sleep."
Yeah,
the drink.
Everyone kind of like just mumbles the to Mother Russia, you know.
And I think I grab like the mostly finished bottle of booze, and then and the rest of this is for treating wounds. Since the mood has been killed.
Okay. Is anyone going to try to still stay up, or are you going to try to get some sleep?
Well, I've been out exploring all day, so I'll just and I know there's a mission coming up, so I'm going to try to have at least a couple of hours.
Yeah. Did you want to retroactively make a daytime move?
Yeah, sure.
Like, because you're probably going to take a harm just from staying up most of the day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you that harm until after the mission, because you're on a daytime schedule, but that is how harm does work in this game.
Yeah.
But I'll let you. I think eyeball might be appropriate, or if you want to do like a scrounge or a scrounge, that might be appropriate to try to add to the mission pool.
Yeah.
Oh, which I forgot. Ira, you did add to the mission pool there because you did get a hit on a scrounge roll. So I just added that. So sorry, Polina.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna head over to the hangar to get a bit familiar with the plane. I'm going to fly tonight. I want to check out what it looks like and if there's something I should know about it. So I'm heading over to the hangar or where the planes are.
Yeah. So Morova is pissed that now she has to do maintenance on this extra plane and fix the patch job that was done in a rush there. But if you want to eyeball the situation, or one of the or Morova, absolutely.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna see what Mirova is, who she is, and what she's. Yeah, I'm gonna eyeball her. So
Okay.
I'll roll the. I think I got an 8.
Okay. So you get to hold one, and you get spend the hold 1 for 1 to ask a question. The questions are: how can I help her? What does he or she want? What am I overlooking? And how could I ... or how could I get ...
Oh, I'm gonna go for the help. I think I think Polia is trying to be. She's aspiring to be somewhat of a leader, or at least a leader of the
Yeah.
group. And
So
I think I want to get in with the higher officers. So yeah,
Morova is only a sergeant like you. She is
Okay,
the lead
okay.
mechanic, but
Yeah.
not a bad person to be on good terms with.
Yeah, maybe
Um,
she would be able to help me further on. So I'm going to see what she wants.
Yeah, so you definitely get the impression that Morova hates help. But if
Yeah.
you just came in and started working on the plane, specifically 288, and just did exactly what needed to be done, with Morova couldn't object. And basically, the only way that she'll accept your help is if you force it upon her.
Yeah. I think I'm going to head. I see this there's a patch job with the jacket, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm going to. I'm just going to go over to the piece where, like, sigh and like, oh, this is not really up to regulations, and just remove the jacket and I don't know. Go and get a piece of proper cloth and start to patch the plane up.
Okay. Roll plus skill.
Right. There's something happened. Sorry.
No worries.
Nine.
9. So on a 7 to 9, you patch it together, but choose 2. It's in your player aid, but it's either she'll fly eventually, but not tonight. You take 1 harm from lack of sleep. You don't complete the job in an officially approved manner, or the plane acquires a personality if it doesn't already have one. This plane does have a personality. But since we started the planes with personalities, I will let you change the personality in a quirky way. So this plane is currently reliable and trustworthy.
All right. I'll go with the change the personality. You said reliable and trustworthy. Was that
Yep.
one? Yeah.
It's on the section info. This was plane 228.
I'll just have a quick look. There's nothing. There. 228. There's something. It's a bit more noticeable. Something maybe it's not the right color of the patch. It still looks like it's properly done, but there's a slight variation in the color. So it's a bit. It's not up to regulations. It's more easily noticeable.
So its personality is now reliable but mismatched.
Yeah.
Are you also going to say that? What was the second thing that you're picking?
Well, I'll go with the harm.
You're taking the 1 harm?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you take 1 harm.
Yeah, done.
That works well for the fiction already.
Yeah.
So you're staying up all day, helping to reskin this plane. Morova swears at you, tells you to get out a few times, but eventually just keeps quiet and lets you work, and eventually just gives you a nod as you head off to the briefing. So everybody wake up. Oh, that was a good 3 hours of sleep, wasn't it? I'm going to say that was, because of the interruption, that was not enough sleep to wipe away 1 harm. So keep your current harm. Normally, if you had 1 harm, it would get wiped away when you slept. In this case, you guys were up partying. So you all meet in Olga Petrova's tent. And the first thing she says is, "I'd like everyone to welcome back Junior Lieutenant Hannah Rutman." And there's the clapping, like this is the official celebration of Hannah coming back. Hannah, since you are now the most experienced person in your squadron, I would like you to take point as section leader. And she goes into explaining, and Olga goes into explaining the mission. This is going to be harassment bombing. of the German and Hungarian infantry amassing at a crossing along the Mias River. They're saying to expect little resistance unless you fly low enough to see the unit patches on their shoulders. So if you really want to fuck with them, they can fuck with you. But otherwise, it's infantry. They're not going to have the anti-air guns like they did the last time. So if you just stay at high altitude and drop bombs on them, they'll, it will be very effective. However, the Germans haven't had a lot of a chance to get to know who these pilots of these shitty planes are that has been doing these harassment bombing for the last couple of weeks. They haven't captured any of these pilots yet. So if you want to spread your reputation, you could fly in low, give them the middle finger, and really hurt German morale. This is, of course, not part of the mission briefing and is completely against orders, but it's very apparent that this is a golden opportunity to do so. Moreover, you are told that 228 has been approved for flight ready, so you get to assign people to roles in planes. To replace Valentina, another sergeant is present other than Polina. Let's take a look at those names. So I can choose one quick. Let's say Sergeant Rudina.
So Hannah is choosing the selection.
Oh yeah, you are now the squad commander. I'm sorry, the section leader. So you get to assign everyone's planes. The privilege of rank.
And is Lavrova available?
No. Oh, Sophia?
Yeah.
You could ground Sophia so she has a chance to heal. And insist on a new person. She's at the she's at the thing. You see, she has a bandage around her head. So it's going to be your choice on whether or not you let her rest or not. You could pull in a replacement from another squadron.
Yeah, I will definitely ground her. And looking at Senior Lieutenant Petrova, while I say that she needs some rest.
Petrova nods, and she calls for Sergeant Cardina from Section 2 to fill in.
So concerning the PCs, Hannah wants to fly with Dasha again. Hannah at the me as the pilot and Dasha as the navigator, and then Ira and Polya, and I think Polya as the fighter because she's a hawk. Not that as a player I knew it, as a character I knew that.
There is a third plane.
And so I could put Ira and Polya both as pilots.
Yes, there's three pilot positions, and 3 navigator positions, and you can mix, and that's why there are there's those NPC pilots is to fill in the extra spots in the planes.
So
I said Rudina was the new one, and what was the other name I said?
I have Gordina. Is that a name?
It was Cardina. That was it.
Yeah. So let's see what kind of planes. Yeah, I would like to be in like Hannah picks 228, obviously. And the slow one, 51, is for Ira. Oh no, where's the slow one?
That's 51. I'm sorry, no, that's 256 is the laser one.
256 is for Ira, and Polya gets the wild one.
Giving away my humpback to somebody else.
Oh, not just that. You're totally you're totally what's the term? God, why am I blanking on it? What fraternities do it to new members? You're totally hazing the new girl by giving her the difficult plane.
Yeah, checking out what she's up to.
And then you said who was navigating the 3 planes as well?
Yeah, so Dasha is navigating 228.
Oh, Dasha, you don't get to fly. Oh, that's so terrible.
I mean, after doing such a great job last time.
And then Cordina
from the other section.
From the other section is for 51. And then Rudina in 256.
Okay. And who is going to be leading the bomb run and who's going to be navigating?
Well, Hannah wants to lead the run.
Hannah is going to lead the attack run. And who's going to wayfind?
Ira.
Ira's a pilot.
Oh, so
has to be a navigator.
Yeah, then it's obviously Dasha. Or is that not possible because we're in the same plane?
No, that can totally be the case. Actually, I think it's a navigator who needs to do that. Let me double check the move real quick. See, when you lead a flight to the target, no, I think a pilot can wayfind.
So then Ira should do it.
Ira's going to wayfind. Lead the wayfinder, and then everyone else is Vadima. Now no one used it last time, but remember you can Vadima to take on the negative effects of a roll during the mission. In addition, you guys have 3 in your mission pool. Also, if anybody wants to show off and tempt fate, that basically, if you want to try to dismay the Germans by showing that you are by flying low and proving yes, it's a bunch of female pilots that are kicking your asses right now, that would be a tempt fate. So let's start it off. The Wayfinder needs to roll.
So that is a 6 plus, I think my skill is 0. Yeah. So that's a 6. So maybe we should take 1 from the pool to get that to a 7.
Okay. Yeah, you're like, no, we are not fucking this up. Not after Hannah came back. Okay, so on a 7, you find your target, but choose one consequence. Your plane suffers a minor mechanical failure. The plane is damaged. The enemy is waiting for you. Triggers enemy fire. Or you're stressed or banged around. Split 2 harm however you want.
going to the stress option, if I'm just giving an opinion, have the stress option if
Yeah,
go with the lack of sleep.
yeah. I think me and my navigator will both take 1 harm.
Okay, so let's see. The navigator for your plane was Cordina. Took 1 harm. Okay, but you get so you are you're leading the planes and you're like, oh shoot, we're going the wrong direction. You hard bank to circle around to get it into the right place, which leads us into the attack run.
Yeah, so I tell Dasha to get us as low as possible to the enemy, and I'm rolling plus my not incredible guts. Let's see.
No one has awesome stats. So this is going to be just the general attack run, and then if you want to try to dismay the German soldiers by flying low enough that they can see who's piloting the planes, that would be an additional tempt fate on top of that.
I know. Let's see how the general run goes. So I have +0. Oof, that's 6. Oh, it's it. Yeah, it's even a 5. Jesus, I saw the 5 and the 1, and then the 5 disappeared. But in any case, it's a fail.
Well, there's still 2 left in the mission pool.
Yeah, that's why it's so weird that now it's a 5. So I need 2. Yeah, I totally invested 2 points from the mission pool.
Okay, so the mission pool is empty, but that turns it to a 7. So you get to choose 1. The damage to the target is not significant, and it's your fault. You fly through a storm of flak, triggering enemy fire. A plane in your section is damaged. I get to choose. And you and your fellow airwomen are marked. So it would be the 2 people in the plane would get the mark.
Yeah. And a mark is like, it's a black mark for the NKVD, or
nope, that is.
No. Okay, yeah, I see. What I thought was like a Lady Blackbird key, but in reality is a bad thing happening.
Yeah, it's the inverse of Lady Blackbird.
Yeah, I think I take the mark.
So it's both you and Dasha get marked.
Oh,
I'm okay with that.
Dasha, you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm already at 2 harm, so I'd rather take a mark than die.
Now, here's the thing: someone who's in Videma can choose to take the mark instead.
Or the harm.
Or if you choose to take enemy fire, someone, a Videma, can say, hey, I'm going to take the mark, and my plane takes the fire instead. So that's actually what the advantage is the Videma, someone could say, oh, hey, I'm really good at luck, so I'll go ahead and take the enemy fire because it will probably be, it's more likely to be okay.
Yeah, Bethany, if you're okay with the mark, then we split the 2 mark.
Sounds fair to me.
Okay.
Ooh.
Both of you choose a mark. What are you guys choosing?
Let's see.
I'm going to make a friend or take a lover when we get back.
Awesome.
I think I will reveal a secret to Dasha when we go back, because I think it's really difficult. I can shout the secret at the moment, but
No, this is just something that will be happening in the fiction coming
Yeah.
up. Awesome. I'm excited to see these play out. So the attack runs are pretty good, but does someone want to be gutsy and fly in low where it's difficult for where the Germans might be able to take shots at you, but they get to see who's been fucking them up?
I'll do it. I got the guts, and I want to prove myself on the first mission. I'll do it.
Okay. So Polina is breaking formation on one of the runs and is coming in low. Roll Tempt Fate.
4. And guts 6.
And we're out of mission pool.
Oh, well.
So yeah, you you come in low. Describe how you're doing this.
Well, how does it look on the ground? Are we attacking tanks or?
No, this is infantry that you're attacking.
Infantry. All right. I think what I'm trying to do is to make a run, firing on them, and going in low, and just kind of tip the plane or roll the plane so they can see, so everyone can see the pilot.
You're kind of doing like an upside down, like
no, not really upside down. I just like roll the plane a bit, so and try to go in a circle, but curve around them, so and turn so that we face them.
Yeah,
they can see us.
So yeah, you're doing this, and everyone's all the Germans are scrambling, because you're dropping bombs on them, and you come in low to just give that extra little fuck you, and everyone else is running away, but the German captain of this infantry division just takes out his sidearm, looks you square in the eye, lines up a shot, and fires going right into your lap. So take 2 harm from a bullet wound. This guy was a crack shot.
Yeah.
But you gave him, this is a slow plane. You gave him all the time in the world.
So I'm at 3 harm now. That's right.
Oh, yeah. You're at 3 harm.
Oh, so much for proving.
Is anyone else going to do anything outside of the plan during this mission?
I think Hannah had enough adventure for 2 days.
Yes, that's welcome to World War II. So you guys are flying back. Polina, you are not doing well. 3 harm is requiring hospitalization. I am going to make you do a wings down to land.
Wheels down, you mean?
Yeah, wheels down.
Yeah. All right.
Do you have a move for this?
Yeah. Do you mean when I want to land somewhere new? Or just a regular wheels down move?
When you want to land somewhere, oh, it is specifically somewhere new. This is not somewhere new to you. So yeah, roll wheels down because you're dealing with blood loss right now.
Yeah. Nine.
So you choose 2. The plane is unflyable. And is damaged. It's not already damaged. Casualties on board split 3 harm. however you like. Your lack of skill, courage, or care with people's machinery is noted, or your landing puts you in immediate danger.
I'm gonna go with the immediate danger option and the what if I split the harm? I guess I'll just die. But
Yeah, one more harm in you would die.
yeah, but the immediate danger and the lack of skill, courage, or care.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So you're coming in to land, and you're pretty woozy, and you end up drifting off of the prescribed landing strip and into one of the basically hay bales that are lit on fire. And you're passing out here, so someone needs to get you out of the plane soon, or and get the plane moved away, or else you're going to go up in the fire.
Is the rest of us seeing this?
Yeah, this is very, very noticeable.
So I think that. Go on, Bethany.
Oh, did they land first, or have the rest of us already landed?
I'm going to say that 228 has already landed because you were in the lead position for the bombing, and you're reliable. And then Ira's plane has not landed yet because they're lazy. So
Okay.
that also means, Ira, that your landing is blocked. So you can try to wait it out and conserve fuel until they clear the runway, or you might have to wait and do your own wheels down to land off of the prepared runway.
We'll wait for now.
Okay, I'm gonna go help. Like as soon as I can reasonably safely get out of the plane, and go help try to drag that plane away from the fire.
Yeah, let's call that attempt fate.
Okay. Oh wait,
Is that a help move? Because Hannah would do the same thing, but
the only help move is the Vedomaya.
So would we both roll separately, or?
No, we would just deal with it in fiction now.
Yeah, Hannah is just helping as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, in the future, you guys can absolutely use Vedomaya to aid in to take over the consequences of wheels down, which is weird, but it makes more sense if you're in the plane with the person. But in any case, yeah, roll attempt fate.
That's an 8.
An 8. Let's take a look. Yeah, so you get to choose something that is going to get burned from the fire. Yourself, Polina, or the plane.
Wow. Okay.
Essentially,
I think it's got to be me.
You're taking the third harm?
I think so, yeah. If Polina takes any more harm, she's gonna die. And yeah, I think just it's much more in character that I take stupid risks. So
yeah, so
it's gonna be me.
Yeah, you let the fire catch on your uniform as you basically push Polina aside, run up the engine and move it away from the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Hannah is screaming at her, "What are you doing? You're insane!"
So, yeah, you take a third harm. I'm going to say that this is enough time for Ira. Ira has not lost fuel, especially because your whole deal is your plane is lazy. It's not a fuel guzzler. It actually, is the opposite. So, you just kind of glide in, nice and easy after the runway gets cleared. But both Dasha and Polina need to get hospitalized. So we're gonna have some downtime before the next mission, while you guys heal up.
Yeah. My bedside manner is going to be working overtime.
Oh, actually, maybe not, because we do have someone who has a move that's important.
Yeah.
So let's go to the debrief, which is missing Polina and Dasha. So there is Lieutenant Petrova sitting at the same table, and she is just looking at the four of you and is like, now, why is it that it seems like for Section 1A, you can never do things just by the book?
Hannah, who said that? Was that Olga?
That's Olga.
Yeah. So maybe if we had decent material and I would know the people I put into planes, we had a chance. I had the weakest member of our squad, and I took out the anti-aircraft. And now I have a completely new girl, and she fucked it up. What do you expect us to do?
So the mission was a failure?
The mission was a success.
Excellent. So can you tell me why Sergeant Polina has a bullet wound in her leg, and now Agent Dasha had to set herself on fire to save her stupid ass?
Because Dasha is a fucking hero, and Polya is an idiot.
That is not a why. That is an insult. Perhaps a deserved one, but I asked why.
And I tell you the truth, Senior Lieutenant. Dasha is a hero and saved our plane.
What happened?
Polya wanted to impress us, probably, or scare the Germans, I don't know. And she took too many risks.
Show me what she did.
Out of character, how?
Like she wants you to walk through what happened on the mission. This is a debrief. You're supposed to go,
yeah,
hey, this is what happened.
I describe the initial attack that was a success. And then I'm not saving Polya in any ways. I mean, I'm not. Do I get something when I blame? Is there something?
Yeah, you can help the section during debrief by criticizing a fellow airwoman, which you absolutely are doing. I believe that adds to your mission pool for the next mission.
Yeah, and because she's the new girl and has no ties to us, it's an easy target.
Mm-hmm.
Is it because I'm a zealot, or is it in general?
It's because you're a zealot.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Zealots understand that their real mission is to help develop political consciousness across the regiment, while diligently rooting out intrigues by reactionaries, and wreckers, knowing that the unity of all the forces of democracy is the most reliable weapon in the struggle against reaction, and in the struggle for freedom and peace throughout the world. Play a zealot if you're content with being hated and feared in order to do the right thing. As a zealot, you're skilled in raising morale through snitching and advance between duty stations. If at some point you interest the NKVD in a member of the regiment.
So the way Hannah would phrase it is, you know that Article 133 tells us that any kind of sticking out of what the people's mission is, when we're not fighting as the people's army, but we are hooligans and we are adventurers, that is when the morale of the troops get corroded.
And you tell her basically what Polina did?
Yeah.
Awesome. And you did it while citing Article 133. Perfect. She goes, Your section will obviously need some time to recover. You will be assigned other duties in other sections while that is taking place. When Polina and Dasha return to active duty, I expect you as section commander to bring some much needed discipline.
Senior Lieutenant, can I suggest Dasha for a Medal of Honor? Because she risked her own life to save the plane without regards of her own well-being.
I was already planning on submitting the paperwork. It is, of course, up to High Command to approve the medals, just like in your case. Good work in shoving some bombs up those Germans' asses. Now get some much-needed rest.
Yeah, Hannah salutes and leaves.
Okay. I am going to let you guys, unless there's something you want to do this morning, I'm going to let you guys rest and take the next day off, considering that your section has been pretty decimated.
We also have a bit of a fallout because of the marks we took.
Yes. And I'm giving time in the fiction for you guys to take care of all of that. But right now I'm trying to, set the time of this where unless there's someone wants to do immediately this morning, you guys get to bed and still get to do things the next day without having to worry about like going on the next mission.
I mean, I probably start assessing all these injuries as soon as possible, so I know. Mm-hmm. So I may not get to rest the next day. I may be, looking for medical supplies the whole next day, even though we've got a night off.
If you want to go to the infirmary before going to bed, you absolutely can.
Do that first. I mean, I was thinking to just start with because my move, the bedside manner, mm-hmm. it kind of tells me if I'm going to need a lot of time, energy, or resources,
right,
in order for it to work. So
I'm basically saying you don't need to roll it immediately in order to use that move. But if you want to do it this morning, and then decide how to progress from there based on the results, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it seems like that would make sense. How many people are at 3 harm?
It is Polina and Dasha. Now there is other harm out in the squad that you can also try to address. Like Hannah has a harm as well. I am going to get rid of Masha's harm because I'm going to say she had a chance to rest. No, I'm going to, because she's in another squadron. She'll, heal harm and get rid of. When Masha comes back in, I'm just going to have her start with whatever harm she left at. Say it kind of cancels out.
Well, I'll start with looking at Dasha's injuries, I guess.
Okay.
So let's roll that. I'm going to. Oops.
Yeah, so you make it over to the infirmary tent, and there's 2 women who seem to be running the whole thing, and they're just kind of scrambling back and forth because they've never had to treat 2 people. They're treating multiple people right now between just the 2 of them.
So that's a 12.
Awesome. What happens on a 10 plus?
On a hit, it isn't so bad. That's all it says.
So Dasha, decrease your harm by 1.
All right. Oops.
Oh, I should also mark. Sometimes the rules are not as concrete as they would be, but I think the rules were suggesting that by putting the blame on somebody, it helps out the squad. So I'm giving you 1 to the mission pool right now. So what are you doing to treat Dasha to show that it's not so bad?
So what it burned was the last thing, and then
she was banged up from the night before.
Banged up from the night before. I think I'm just cleaning, burnt cloth and clothing, and I snuck that last little bit of the moonshine out, and I'm just kind of sterilizing the wounds so she's not getting all infected.
Yeah, and you're noticing, her uniform got the worst of it. She'll be sore in the morning, but it's not like terrible burns.
Sounds good. Yeah. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. Just rest.
Yeah, and after screaming in agony from alcohol on burns, I'm like, thanks, thank you, God, thanks.
So Polina, you see that Ira went to her squad member, and is treating her. And it's like, oh, this isn't so bad. You're sitting there in bed, barely awake, kind of completely ignored here.
Yeah. Well, I'm of course ashamed of that. That my show of force didn't go exactly as I was planning. But I kind of feel I feel left out, and not that I deserve this, but well, I'm wondering why. Is it Ira? Why she's not helping me? I'm barely awake. Still a lot of blood loss, I guess. But I know this. It's I notice what's happening.
Yeah. Do you want to act up as a lady here? Because you're like, hey, I'm injured and, feeling like crap, and I want some attention for my, for myself and my own plight. That could totally be acting up as a lady. This is going into the whole sexism of the game, in that you're expected to be a tough Russian soldier who, when you're injured, you just take it.
Yeah, I'll try that. See how it goes. Roll for guts. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 7-9 with guts.
Okay, so you get to choose one. You make someone do what you want. You ensure that there's no consequences for acting up, which means that no one's going to be like, oh, you're just such a crybaby. Or you can add one to the mission pool.
I'm gonna go with the no consequences because I still want to keep my. I want to try to. Yeah. No, I don't want the crybaby thing to be a consequence later on. So
yeah. So you kind of groan, and it's pretty much ignored by everyone in the room.
Yeah. But I'll try to get something out to say something like, well, at least if it weren't for me, the Germans wouldn't know who hit them. And I try to make sure that the other two hear what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, new girl. Good job scaring those Germans. Next time, maybe go a little bit faster.
Well, at least I tried. More than I can say about you.
Ooh. Ouch.
Yeah, well, look which one of us got shot.
Well, if you want me to if you still want the Germans to know who's hitting them, maybe you should help me with this, so I can fly in next mission.
Yeah, I'm not sure you want me helping you, but Ira here is.
I meant Ira.
Good at that. Okay.
Well, I mean, you did bring Humpback back in one piece at least. And I'll take a look. So, can I go ahead and use my bedside manner? All right. So that's an 8. So it'll take lots of time, energy, or resources.
Yeah, so is it going to take time for is it going to take time for Polina to heal? Are you going to need to get something so that she can heal, or are you going to or is it going to take a bunch of your time to get her back up and running?
You letting me pick?
Yep, you're the person who rolls.
Well, it says GM chooses.
Oh, I choose.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not life-threatening at this point. She's no longer she was stitched up, so she's no longer bleeding out. It's just going to take time until kind of the muscle knits together. It will leave a scar, nice little circle there, but it went into the leg clean. The bullet didn't splinter or anything. And yeah, the medics, because they don't actually have medical degrees, were able to. Looks like they were able to yank the bullet out, clean the wound pretty appropriately, and stitch her up. So it'll just take some time before she's up and running.
So does it gonna take a lot of my time helping her? Is that the idea?
So the way I read it was energy is you putting in a bunch of your time. Resources is you need something that you don't have, and time means basically you just have to wait it out.
Okay.
Where we live now, it's like.
So no one's in critical condition. If people want to get some rest, you absolutely can.
Yeah, Hannah will definitely try to sleep at least 8 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
So then, yeah, you wake up the next evening. Everyone does. And you report, you do the little bit of chores that you need, and then you report for duty. And basically, obviously the two people in the infirmary don't report for duty. Basically, you are given assignments to basically do support check-in when the missions come back the next day. They don't want you guys in the air. They don't want you guys in the air right now. So if you have 2 harm, you can heal all of your harm. So I'm gonna let you guys play through the day in the evening, and see how the drama plays out. And then I think we're going to be at a good position to end the session.
So Hannah has to reveal a secret to Dasha, or to someone else, I guess.
Yes.
But it would make sense because we were in the plane together when it happened. And Bethany, what was your mark?
I have to make a friend or take a lover.
So I think Hannah definitely goes to the infirmary, and I think she has. It is summer, isn't it?
It's either spring or summer. I can't remember which.
I do remember that the first.
This is spring. It's February to April 1942.
Oh, then it's actually not that. Well, some I don't know. Maybe she picks some early flowers from the fields, and Dasha and Polya, they are still in the infirmary.
Mm-hmm.
So she, I don't know. She knocks at the door, or is Ira running around, or what's the situation like? Is it open? Can everybody just enter?
Well, I mean, the medics may kick you out if you're bothering them, but it's probably inadvisable to come in during a bombing run. You probably want to do it during the daytime.
Mm-hmm. Well, Hannah tries her luck anyways. Is Ira around?
Probably, yeah.
And how do you look like? Are you completely out of it, or and super tired?
I don't think I was doing too bad since we had a night off. So
I'm finding you in a good mood, I hope. And I say, Ira, how are our patients?
They're gonna be all right. They're looking better.
Kind of nice too.
Do you think I can sneak in for a minute?
It's fine with me.
And yeah, Hannah tiptoes into the room, glances at Polya. I don't know if she's awake. And then, looks around if there's like a glass of water or something where she can put the flowers in.
I mean, there's not a spare glass. This is
Obviously, yeah. She what's it called? Repurposes some vial or whatever there is.
There's the empty jar that had the moonshine.
Or is it empty?
It's empty now, yeah.
Jesus. That was our last supply. Ira, come on. What are you doing?
that means you can always rack up more favors with Morova. There will never be a problem with that.
Morova has an endless supply, brewing for fuel.
So Hannah sits down next to Dasha, places shows the flowers and says, "That's for you, you lunatic."
Flowers and an insult. That's appropriate. Thanks.
What were you thinking? I mean, it's a goddamn plane.
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, seemed faster to get the whole plane out instead of getting the people out of the plane.
Well, and now she leans in and whispers, like she, I think she, what's it called? Like brushes the hair of Dasha aside a little bit, and she leans in and says, "I have to tell you, I was praying for you, and that hasn't happened since I was 5."
I won't tell anybody.
Who did you pray to? Do you reveal that?
Yeah, I mean, she's obviously not religious. I think if you're like a religious Jew, you are not even allowed to say a god.
Mm-hmm.
But for, yeah, she says Hashem, I think.
Oh
Yeah.
man, is Hannah Jewish?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be really fucked up.
Yeah, I just put my hand over hers, and so it's I appreciate that, and that goes no further than me.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I think Hannah also she gets up, maybe already thinking about if anybody could have heard that, like looking around if Polya could have heard that, or Ira.
Yeah, I think I'm looking around too, just to like, okay, that is a heavy piece of information. I was just told, and I don't want anyone else to hear it either.
Polya is still out from
Yeah.
ordeals.
Yeah, I think Hannah tiptoes over to Polya and has a look at her, but she's still out of it.
Yeah, maybe moving a little, but clearly asleep.
I think that was my reveal a secret scene.
Mhm. Yeah, don't feel like you need to hard frame mark scenes. It's just something that needs to happen in the fiction.
Okay.
So, Hannah, do you then just leave Polina and Dasha alone in the infirmary? Because that could be a cool scene.
Yeah, I think Hannah leaves to maybe prepare for the next mission. See what she can do to maybe bond with good old 228.
So are we going to do a scene with Dasha and Polina, or should we? There's a couple of other things that I can see that could be happening.
I would be actually quite content with just having Polina sleep it off. I feel I'm a bit out of ideas and not really into this right now. So
Okay.
I'm fine.
Yeah, go ahead and cut to the other.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ira, it's it's the daytime. You still are sleeping through most of the daytime, but you have a bit more time off. Your duties are kind of lighter. You're kind of supporting things as people get busy, but you don't have to worry as much. But Sergeant Morova comes and finds you. So you really so your section's a real piece of work, Ira.
We're doing all right. We'll be okay.
Come with me.
Okay.
So she goes and she takes you to the hangar and shows you and tells you to climb up onto 51. Oh, your beloved humpback.
Yeah.
Great.
And it looks like they they patched up the the hole in the bottom, but the whole seat is covered in blood. She's grounded.
What? Why?
See all that red mess?
You were doing so good.
It's actually now like dark brown.
It's my fault.
Regulations say we can't fly her because of something about bloodborne pathogens. Now we can scrub the we can scrub the metal, but the seat needs to get replaced, and I don't have a spare seat. So, since you are Miss Free Time now, and it was your buddy who caused this problem in the first place, I'm going to make the problem you caused your problem again. You owe me for the booze. I want you to go find me a new seat.
Yeah. Okay. I'm on it. Where am I going to get a seat? Okay.
Oh, that's the
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess I'm
there's a
racking my brain for where
a virus
I can
spreading around the world.
scrounge up a seat or some suitable replacement.
I mean, you're probably going to have to find it from another regiment, but if only there was a role to help sum up how that goes.
Okay. Yeah. I can do that. Uh, 10.
Okay, 10. What does it say on a 10 plus? Let's see.
So add 1 to the mission pool, and then I get what I need. I guess that's it.
Okay, well, where are you going to find the seat then? Are you going to barter? Are you going to barter, beg, steal? Look for it in salvage.
Yeah, I feel like what's the
30's not much. That's kind of nice. This one is overly unique option.
is it all one solid piece, or
Yeah,
if I could get like
it. What I mean is, it's kind of absurd in that it's just kind of like a couple of pieces of metal with like cushions, basically, sewn into place around it that get bolted into the frame of the airplane.
yeah, so I wonder if I can just like get the cushions, swap the bloody cushions, wring them out, and then swap them with like the reserve planes from some other squadrons.
That's a good try.
I mean, you could totally just say, hey, I'm going to reupholster these cushions. That could work. And scrounging for that cloth is going to be a lot easier. It will take you some time, but you've got a bit of time while you're grounded anyways. And so with a 10 plus, you could just do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, as like a project, you reupholster those cushions, and Marova, makes a joke about how you're so domestic, and you make a good wife, and gives you a kiss on the cheek playfully, and a pat on the ass, like basically treating you like making a joke of it. But overall, yeah, you get the job done. And then before we go, let's make sure that Dasha's mark gets resolved. So you need to specifically make a friend or a lover.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to do that exactly. I assume like I can't just. Is there a role involved? Do I just like name an NPC and then go talk to them
or a PC?
Well, I don't want to like speak for a PC. And be like, oh, you're my friend now, But I have an idea. I want to go get on Marova's good side.
Okay, yeah. So they're letting you. They do let you out of the infirmary to walk around a little bit. Just you're not released to active duty. So yeah, you can go say hi to Marova.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Yeah, I think she's She's working on one of the other sections planes right now.
Yeah. Okay. I did not think this through. Yeah, I'm just gonna walk up and ask what condition, which plane was it that it was?
It was 57. I'm sorry, 51. That was that crashed. Well, it didn't crash. It kind of just leaned into drifted into the flaming hay bales.
Right. Yeah. I'll ask her like when that can fly again, or if she, I don't know.
Yeah. When she takes notice to you, she actually slaps you just right in the face. That was a stupid thing you did. Why did you get yourself hurt for the sake of a plane?
Well, I got myself hurt for the people inside the plane.
Oh, look, I know I give you pilots a hard time. I give you pilots a hard time with the plane. These planes are your lives. Keeping them in good condition keeps you alive. But when it comes to you versus a plane, it's always you.
Look, Paya had been shot and she was still inside the plane. And I thought, look, why not save her and the plane at the same time faster instead of like helping her out and then trying,
Look, and she takes your hand in her hands, her very greasy hands. He's like,
right.
You are important to us. You're important to me. Now here's the question. Do you lean in for a kiss or is it friendship?
No, I'll lean in for a kiss.
Oh yeah, she'll kiss back.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So you are in a romance with Minerva. We'll see how that goes. And actually, I think like the kiss in the hangar is the perfect cutout.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, it's a great scene.
Ship with Sasha. Awesome. Did I mention that World War II Russia, well as now, aren't so keen on homosexuality? So awesome. Great session, you guys. I think this was great. This was exactly what I wanted to see out of Night Witches, which is the missions really add the drama, but it's really about the characters. And, I know it's we're just getting into it, but I really see those relationships forming. I see where there's the friction. I see where there's the love. So really, I love it. I love this whole session. I love it from all of you guys. Martin, I know that, we're getting you kind of into it, and that's a little bit slower. It actually, I think you are further along with integrating than everyone was in the first session, which completely makes sense because this session was more geared around play. And I think next session we are definitely going to see that relationship between Polina and everyone else really blooming. But I want to thank you guys so much.
Thank you for game mastering.
Yeah, absolutely. Now a bit of timekeeping and things. You guys can clear up all of your harm because we're going to say it's going to be a week or so before your next mission due to the injuries of Dasha. The other option is we could have Martin GM, but because that's what the rules say. But in this format, I don't think that's necessarily the best choice. So I'm willing to continue game mastering unless Martin, you really would like to take over that role, and then I get to make a pilot.
I'm really fine with you GMing, so that's
awesome. That is what I was assuming was the default, even though the rules say when someone hits 3 harm, generally they take over the GM role. I think it's a cool thing to do in person, especially on a full campaign. On a temporary one, the logistics just doesn't work as well, I think.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do we want to debrief here? Do it in Discord. I can stop the broadcast for it, or we can debrief as part of the broadcast, whichever you guys prefer.
Well, debrief out of broadcast. I think at least I'm a bit short
Okay.
of time, so I'm not going to be able to stick around for.
Oh, yeah. And debrief is completely optional, of course.
Okay. Yeah. Then I'll just option out now for now. Then.
Okay. Absolutely. Well, let's stop the broadcast. Thank you, everyone who's watching. I think that was a great session, and I'm excited to be back for session 3, which will be our halfway point.